Hey, how's it going? Appreciate you for checking it out. Hopefully, you enjoy this episode. Now, on this one, I want to talk about a move in the NBA that could potentially change the hierarchy in the East and the Western conferences. I'll give you my quick thoughts on that move here in a second because I don't know if I necessarily believe that. And I'll tell you why. Also, going to take a look at my week 4 picks. I missed week 3 in terms of a video for you all, but back on it for week 4. We'll see how well I can do. Obviously, we'll love your thoughts on my picks when you see them. And like I did last week, I'm going to give you guys what I'm watching this weekend. Plain and simple. Like I said, if you like that segment, being a normal weekly thing, let me know in the comments. And obviously, everything I talk about in this, let me know what you think as well down below. So let's go ahead and get started with this NBA trade that's not official yet, but it seems like that's where we're heading. That I think a lot of people are intrigued by and are wondering what this now means for the East and the West. I think more so for the Knicks because we know that the Celtics just won the title. The questions always there. You know, started last season when they had such a big lead on everybody else. Who was the second best team in the East? Going into this season, it's about who's the team in the East that could give the Celtics the most trouble in a repeat bid. I think with this move, a lot of people are looking at the Knicks to see where they stack up. So the proposed deal, the deal that they're near finalizing, I believe is the last report I saw, would see Karl-Anthony Towns go from the T-Wolves to the Knicks, with Randle and DiVincenzo going from the Knicks to the T-Wolves. So my initial thought was Karl-Anthony Towns is the better player in the trade, so the Knicks win the trade. Is it overwhelming? No, not necessarily. I'll start with the T-Wolves on this. Randall is cheaper than Karl-Anthony Towns. That's a plus. I think the biggest minus is going to be fit on the court, especially when you play him next to Gobert. You know, you have Ant on the court, you have McDaniels on the court. Spacing could be an issue. I think the biggest thing I didn't like about Randall in New York, he seemed to be too perimeter happy, one, and two, he was a black hole. Like once you gave him the ball, that was it. He was going to dribble, back down, try every crossover. We'll try the same crossover multiple times to get to where he wanted to before taking a fadeaway and kind of killing your offensive ball movement. That would be an issue in Minnesota when you have a guy like Ant, who's really good with the ball and is really good at breaking down his defender and getting to the rim. Now, he's already had the season with Gobert. He can work around that. But now throwing in Randall to that floor spacing, I'm a little worried about. For the Knicks, I think Karl-Anthony Towns gives them a perimeter shooter on, when you look at the teams in the East, the Celtics, Al Horford, Porzingis, bigs that can shoot up on the perimeter, because a lot of these East teams are pretty good defensively, especially packing the paint, not giving you easy buckets. The Sixers, you got Joel Embiid, who can shoot from the perimeter. Miami, I think we'll see more. Bam Adebayo on the perimeter. You got Cleveland. Mobley showed a little bit last postseason shooting on the perimeter. So it's kind of a thing that the Knicks have needed, and they're getting that. So I completely understand that. My issue, I think, might be defensively and those nights when Karl-Anthony Towns struggles from the perimeter, because we saw it with Minnesota. And, you're going to give him his shots because I think teams still don't necessarily respect him out there on the perimeter. So he's going to be open, he's going to be available, and he's going to take the shots, trust me. But I also worry about physicality with him. because that's kind of a difference between the West and the East. I think I'm not saying that this is like backed up by analytics or anything. I feel like the East is more of a physical game than the West. And my biggest thing with Karl Anthony Towns is he's not the most physical big guy. So that would be my worry in the East if he's covering Embiid. I mean, Horford, not as much. Horford kind of sticks to the perimeter. But Porzingis is a guy who can operate in the paint or like the high post as well as the perimeter. These are also teams that like to pick and roll using the big man. And Karl Anthony Towns really struggled with that last season. But once again, that was more. Yeah, no, I was about to say that was more because of Gobert or whatever. I thought Gobert was okay. So there are some worries on both sides. But like I said, I think the Knicks win the trade because Karl Anthony Towns is the better player in the trade. DiVincenzo is a good pickup for Minnesota. He's a good complimentary scorer. He plays tough defense. I get that. For the Knicks, Miles McBride, this is now your opportunity, being basically the main sixth guy. That's your role now. So he's going to have to be more consistent. Last season, he had games where he popped, looked really good. He had a lot of games where he disappeared and barely contributed. Those can't happen. He has to be a consistent scorer for the Knicks to make up for DiVincenzo's production. But I mean, we'll see. We're getting close to the season starting. Preseason is right around the corner. The season starts October 20th or something. So it's not that far away. It's intriguing. I will say that. But like I said, I think the Knicks win the trade. Not overwhelmingly, but I give them the edge in this. Let's move on. Picks. I missed week 3, so I'm 16-16 because I went 8-8 in week 1 and week 2. But let's go ahead and get through these picks. Obviously, I pick against the spread. So these are the spread numbers I got from ESPN Bet. I believe these were Friday. So the number might be different if you go looking at it now. But these are the numbers I had. This is what I'm going off of. So I've got the Falcons minus 2.5 against the Saints. I feel like the Falcons probably win that one. I think those two teams will split. They normally, each team wins on their home field. So I'll take the Falcons in the 2.5. I've got Bears minus 3. Rams defense is a bit of a mess. I think we might get Caleb Williams' best game so far of the season. I mean, some of you might say not that hard to beat what he's done so far, but I have a feeling he'll be able to make some throws against the Rams. So I'll take the Bears in that one. I've got the Vikings plus 3 against the Packers. It looks like Jordan Love will be available, which I take it as he's going to start. But Brian Flores and that defense will make it difficult on him. And I think Sam Darnold will have a good game. So I'll take the Vikings plus 3. I've got the Steelers minus 2.5 against the Colts. I just don't trust Anthony Richardson, especially against this Steelers defense with TJ Watt, who's wrecking offenses left and right. Yeah, I just have no faith in him being able to break them down. I've got the Jets minus 7.5 against the Broncos. I think the Broncos defense will pose interesting matchups for the wide receivers for the Jets. I just don't know if I can trust Bo Nix in the offense to do a lot or enough against the Jets defense. I feel like week by week is looking more and more like the Jets defense from last year. So I'll take the Jets in the 7.5. I've got the Bucks plus 2 against the Eagles. I have not necessarily liked what I've seen from the Eagles so far on offense and defense. Would like to see more consistency there. I think defensively they looked good against the Saints. We'll see if they can back that up with another performance against the Bucks. Offensively, I think the Eagles are still trying to find their way. But I'll take Baker and the Bucks plus 2, especially at home. I got the Bengals minus 4.5 against the Panthers. I know the Panthers won last week with Andy Dalton, but I also noticed that the Bengals offense looked really good against the Commanders. A game they probably should have won if the defense could have done anything. So I kind of think the Bengals offense is ready to kind of take off and show why they are so dangerous. So I think I'll take the Bengals in the 4.5 against the Panthers. I've got Texans -6 against the Jags. It's the Jags. I'm not buying into anything with them. They've looked horrible. So until they prove to me that they can play legit NFL football and play competitive NFL football, I'm taking basically anybody against them. And I think the Texans are a good team. They they didn't look so good last week against the Vikings, what I mentioned before. Vikings defense is really good. The Jags are not the Vikings, so give me the Texans -6. I got the Cards -3.5 against the Commanders. Like I said, I like the Commanders, what they did against the Bengals. But we saw with Burrow and Chase, they were able to put up big numbers. Would not be surprised if Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison have a big day against that Commanders defense. So give me the Cards -3.5. I got the Pats +10 against the 49ers. I hate double-digit spreads. I feel like it's rare that the favorite actually hits that. So I think the Pats defense will be able to slow down the Niners offense enough. The Niners are coming into this game kind of banged up. Debo, no go. I believe CMC still hurt. You got, I think Kittle banged up. So I think the Patriots will keep it closer. So I got the Pats +10. I'm also expecting Brissett to start. I don't know. Could Drake May make an appearance? I don't know. I got the Browns -1 against the Raiders. Two teams that quarterback play has not been there week in and week out, but I'll take the Browns defense to stifle the Raiders offense. Also, there's no Max Crosby in this one for the Raiders, which I think is a big help for the Browns. So I'll take the Browns -1. I've got the Chargers +7 against the Chiefs. Harbaugh ball will look to play a physical style, probably slow it down a lot. Herbert's got a high ankle sprain. I think he's going to play, but he's probably going to be limited in terms of mobility. And Joe Alt, Rashawn Slater, the two tackles are questionable. Not great, especially against the Spagnuolo defense, but I got a weird feeling on this one. The Chargers keep it closer than a touchdown. So Chargers +7. I've got Bills +2.5 on Sunday night against the Ravens. I don't like the look of the Ravens secondary, and you're going up against Josh Allen that's looking really good through 3 weeks. Expect the passing game in Buffalo to prevail. Oh, that's going to be interesting. Whichever one wins out between the Ravens rush offense against the middle of the pack Bills rush defense and a Bills top tier pass offense against the worst pass defense in the Ravens, whichever wins that battle probably wins the game. I have more faith in the pass offense for the Bills. I'll take the Bills +2.5. I've got Titans +2 against the Dolphins. It looks like Tyler Huntley is going to start for the Dolphins. I feel like when you go to a backup, and I mean, he came in like midweek, I think the first game, struggle. I feel like Huntley will probably be better next week, but going up against the Titans defense that's been able to hound quarterbacks, I don't know if this is the best matchup for Huntley to play well. I feel like Will Levis will play well. We'll see if he'll have his hiccup or two that maybe keeps the Dolphins in this one, but I got Titans +2 against the Dolphins. And it's another doubleheader Monday night week. Also, let me know what you think about those. Do you like those? Like, what if this is a test, kind of like last season, and instead of Thursday night games, they just do regular Monday night doubleheaders? I'd actually be in favor of that. I think the Thursday night game, like, I watch them because I just like football like that, but I think the quality would be better if you just did 2 Monday night games. Also, with that, let me know if you like the staggered start like this, where it's like one's at 7:15 and then one's at 8:20, or would you rather see them do like the first game a little earlier, and then when that's done, the second game? So I guess you'd have like a East Coast first game, West Coast second game. Let me know in the comments. But last game of the week, I've got the Seahawks +3.5 against the Lions. I think what Michael McDonald's doing there is legit. I think the defense is good. I know the Lions like to play a physical brand, which the Seahawks kind of do as well. But I just have a feeling that the Seahawks will keep it closer. I think the half is what's doing it. I feel like if the Lions win it, it's going to be like a field goal, and I would not be surprised if the Seahawks win outright. So I'll take the Seahawks plus 3.5 against the Lions. So there you go. Those are my picks for week 4. Let me know how you think I'll do. I'm hoping for above 500 week. I mean, these are 15 picks, so either way, I can't go 8-8. So obviously, we'll see probably midweek how my picks did. All right, so what am I watching this weekend? And obviously, I want to hear what you're watching as well. Put that in the comments as well. First off, Alabama, Georgia. Got number 2 Georgia facing number 4 Alabama. This is an SEC matchup we don't get every year unless they meet in the SEC title game, which is a potential second matchup of these two this year. But the way the SEC is kind of stacking right now, I don't think it's a guarantee that these two teams would meet up in the SEC title game, which kind of puts more emphasis on this one, 2 top 5 teams. With the expanded playoff, you're expecting both teams to be in the playoff, but remember, top 4 seeds get a bye, and normally those will be the top 4 conference champions. So the loser of this game will be behind the 8 ball in terms of that. So that, I think, adds to the pressure of this matchup, which is why I'm locked in with it and want to see how it goes. So yeah, I mean, early prediction. Actually, I don't even know. I know Georgia has struggled this season so far. I mean, they struggled to get a win against Kentucky. Kentucky did just knock off Ole Miss, who's in 6th in the country. So maybe the close win from Georgia doesn't look as bad, but they just haven't looked as dominant as we've come to know them for the past couple of seasons. And Alabama looks, pretty good. But this will be the first matchup of these two where Nick Saban's not on the sideline for Alabama. So we'll see what Kalen DeBoer can do against Kirby Smart and Georgia. So like I said, I am going to be locked into this game. Let me know who you think wins it. I mean, based off of how the teams are playing right now, you'd have to say Alabama's the favorite going into this one, and it is in Alabama. It's in Tuscaloosa, so I'll say Alabama gets a close win. We'll go with that. Obviously, I'm watching Pats Niners 4:05 p.m. Eastern on Sunday. Both teams are 1-2, so one team will come out of this at 500. It's out in San Francisco, or is it Santa Clara that they play? I'm not really sure about that, but I mean, I just want to see how the Patriots bounce back from the close loss in overtime to the Seahawks, the blowout loss to the Jets. Like, are they just trending more and more, towards the team that a lot of people thought was going to probably be vying for the number 1 pick next year? Or can they bounce back, get back to 500, kind of settle things down and move on through the schedule as we get closer to, like I said, Drake May, from everything they say, looks good in practice. Looks like his time is coming maybe sooner than some of us think. I still say October. I'm going to stick by the London game, I think October 20th against the Jags. I got a feeling that's when we first see Drake May. But, until then, it looks like it's Jacoby Brissett. But, can they get the running game established? When they beat the Bengals, the running game was dominant. Can they do that against a Niners team? I don't know. We'll see. I would like to see a little bit more in terms of passes to, Douglas and, Polk and the wide receivers. Use them a little bit more. It's cool that Brissett has a good connection with Hunter Henry, but work the wide receivers in. You actually have some speed on the outside on this team. try to get them involved. For the Niners, like I said, they're banged up coming into this one. Purdy's played well. This is a team with Super Bowl aspirations. You don't want to see yourselves go down to 1-3, especially against a Patriots team that is struggling right now on your home field. I got a feeling the Niners pull this one out. Like I just told you, the +10 spread. Yeah, I think the Patriots cover, but I'll take the Niners. Let's say 26-18. A little bit of an odd score there, but let's go with it. What else? WNBA semifinals are on Sunday. You get both of them. You get the, I believe it's Aces Liberty first at 3, and then Lynx Sun 8, I believe. That's the timing. I have to look it up, but yeah. I mean, look, these are the 4 best teams that have been there all season, meeting in the semifinals. That's a W for the league. The stars from the teams, Nafisa Collier, Alyssa Thomas, Asia Wilson, Breonna Stewart, were all in the top 5 in MVP voting. That's a W. And if you had to make an argument, these are probably the 4 best players in the league. So the W. Now I know this is probably a bit of a detour, but a lot of talk on social medias, from the Caitlin Clark contingent. A lot of them are talking about that they're turning off the playoffs because she's no longer in it, as the Suns swept the Fever and eliminated Caitlin Clark's Fever squad. I feel like those people, if you're not going to watch, just keep it to yourself. The rest of us don't need to know, and to be honest with you, don't care. But they're all of them talking about watch viewership's going to go down, blah blah blah. It's like, one, some of that's going to be on you, because if you're turning it off, that's hurting viewership. And maybe, here's a wild thought, for you Caitlin Clark fans who only know her, don't know anybody else in the Fever, but know her, this is an opportunity to actually see other great talent. Asia Wilson, best player in the league. Breonna Stewart, to me, second best player. Collier, who's on the rise, I would say is the third best player, but you can make it the argument, maybe the second best player in the league. She's very good on both ends of the floor. She's a multi-level scorer. So trust me, if you haven't seen her play, you'll be impressed. And Alyssa Thomas is not the scorer that the other 3 are, but she does a little bit of everything else. She's a walking triple-double threat every night. So, I feel like for the W, these matchups right here are the best for business. Once again, I know some of you Fever fans, Caitlin Clark fans will say, no, you need Caitlin Clark in the semifinals. Whatever. I've been looking forward to these 2 matchups. I'm here for it. I am a Connecticut Sun fan, but I do really like Nafisa Collier's game, and Minnesota's going to be a tough matchup for them. So the first round was best of 3. These matchups are best of 5. So just to let you know. I mean, preliminary, I would go Sun in 5. I'll take the Aces in 4. Yeah. Aces Liberty is going to be fun as well. Breonna Stewart, Asia Wilson. You got Kelsey Plum, Sabrina Ionescu. You got, it's going to be very interesting on that side in the West. Well, not the West, but the playoffs is just taking the top 8 seeds. But yeah, these are the 4 teams that should be here, made it here, and I'm excited to see it. So I'm expecting a Sun versus Aces final. But we'll see how it plays out. Like I said, I'm not going to downplay the Lynx and the Liberty. Those are 2 very, very good, talented teams. So if you haven't seen these 4 teams play before, you should definitely tune in you'll enjoy the matchups. And last thing I'll be watching this weekend, Bills Ravens. As I said during the picks segment, what I'm looking for here is, well, one, I would like to see more from the passing attack of the Ravens. Where is Mark Andrews? He's disappeared. I just think a lot of defenses are keying in on him because that's Lamar's favorite target. Most games, because of Mark Andrews being the focal point, he's finding likely another tight end. He's finding the backside of the backfield. So I think for Buffalo's defense, they're going to have to key in on all of that. But we know what the Ravens want to do. They want to run the ball, whether it's to Derrick Henry or in the RPOs where Lamar Jackson takes it himself and gets out into space. Can Buffalo's defense slow that down? Buffalo's rush defense is middle of the pack. I think they're like 16th in the league, and Baltimore's run offense is, I believe, best in the league. So that's a key matchup in this one. And then on the flip side, Baltimore's pass defense, especially their secondary, has been burnt a lot of times this year against a Bills pass offense that's really good. And this is without Stephon Diggs. I got to give Josh Allen credit. I was a little bit worried about, taking away Diggs from him, how he would perform. He's got Shakir, who's become the number one receiver. He's got Keon Coleman, who's becoming more and more part of the offense. And the biggest thing is they got James Cook involved, whether it's running the ball or throwing it to him out of the backfield. So Buffalo, I think right now, you can make the argument for them being the best team in the league. And for Baltimore at 1-2, off to a slow start, this would be a signature win for them if they're able to get it. And for Buffalo, this would be a really good win for them. Would you say maybe the best win of the season for them, especially going on the road to Baltimore on a Sunday night? So I'm definitely intrigued to see how this game plays out. As you saw from the picks, I had the Bills winning, but you let me know what you think as well. So yeah, that's what I'm watching this weekend. You let me know what you're watching this weekend. That's also all I got for you in this video. So I definitely, in this episode, because if you tune in on Spotify or something, you may not see the video version. I don't know, but appreciate you checking out this episode. If you did enjoy it, make sure you give it a like. If you're new to the channel, I appreciate you. Thanks for coming on in. Once again, if you enjoyed it, you might as well go ahead and give me a follow or subscribe. If you made it to this point, drop a comment and then let me know that you took in all the information. Let's do that. But yeah, so like I said, let me know what you think about the Knicks T-Wolves trade. Let me know what you think about my picks for week 4. Give me some of your picks as well. You don't have to do necessarily against the spread, but give me some teams that you think will win this weekend. Maybe a team you have on upset alert. I would love to hear from you all. And let me know what you're watching this weekend. So, once again, appreciate you. Be safe. Also, before I get out of here, those who were impacted by Hurricane Helene, I think it's Helene. Yeah, I keep wanting to say Helen or Helena. It's Helene. So those impacted by Hurricane Helene, look, it's Mother Nature. Weather is very scary. There's only so much preparation you can do for storms like this. I saw reports of several people losing their lives. So obviously the families of those, definitely keep them in your thoughts. But yeah, I know for some people, like, this is their moment where they kind of rebuild, or kind of like rebuild and pick up the pieces and try to move on. That's all you can do, day at a time. Not every day is promised. So definitely think about them, pray for them, keep them in your thoughts. So with that, be safe, God bless. I'll see you next episode. All right. I'm out of here. Bye.